Now, when I say the word monopoly, that means to say that there's only one seller selling one particular kind of an item and there are no more sellers at all, no competition for him. Complete price control. This is what I want you to keep in mind, because that person is going to set the market, that person is going to set the price, and nobody else can challenge him. So oligopoly is a revised form of monopoly where you're going to have a cartel formation. Good morning and welcome to the Chapter 6 revision class in 2nd PUC Economics, where we are going to talk about the non-competitive markets. So let's just get on to the agenda for today. So we are going to talk about the chapter introduction, weightage, question types, and the question and answers. Moving further, we're going to talk about the weightage of marks. Of course, I would go back with the same equation here. Why? Because you will get 3 marks coming from each, 1 marker. So there are 3 questions here. 1 2-mark question. So 3 plus 2 is already 5. And a 6 marks. So that means this chapter would also fetch you 11 marks. Look at the previous chapter. In chapter 5 also, I had told you that there is 11 marks. Another 11 marks is coming in your chapter 6. So 2 chapters can again help you to score 22 marks. So that's the importance and that's the game what you need to play in economics. Now, nevertheless, let's get into the introduction to this chapter. This chapter is all about a very, very favorite topic called as monopoly. Probably the word monopoly, we have learnt it by playing that game where we tend to buy places, where we tend to buy different cities, commodities, and other factors. Monopoly is such a wonderful word. Why? Because it tends to make one person all powerful. In reality, what is monopoly? Monopoly means a market where there is a single seller and a large number of buyers. This is the concept that you need to keep in your mind. Now, when I say the word monopoly, that means to say that there's only one seller selling one particular kind of an item and there are no more sellers at all, no competition for him. So everybody in that village, in that particular place is dependent on him. So one seller and large number of buyers or multiple number of buyers. Now, what happens in this kind of market? Initially, if you look into a monopoly market, the person fixed the price. So he would not allow anybody to bargain. He would not allow anybody to give any sort of rooms or any sort of factors in terms of making you understand how it works, how it does not work, and all those things. But then what happens here in a monopoly is that he is the sole controller of the market. So he's not going to give any room to anybody in the market to decide whatever needs to be done. On the other hand, what happens is that this guy would choke the entire market by saying that, yes, he is on that particular move. He is the guy who's going to take it up and he is going to completely run through the market. So monopoly also says very clearly that there are no close substitutes to the product. Now, let's say in a village, there is only one person who is selling salt. Now, there is no equivalent substitute to salt, which means this person will hold the entire market and whatever price he quotes, that is the final price in the market. The persons, that is the consumers, will not have an opportunity to bargain or set against the price. So that's where the monopoly enjoys the complete profit coming out of the market. Followed by, let's talk about the factors of monopoly market. This is very, very interesting. So we have a single seller with a large number of potential buyers. Absolutely, yes, we are there. Now, we also have barriers to the new firms entering the market. Yes, there are a lot of barriers. Why? Because the monopoly market is completely controlled by one person. So he's not allowed you to go and set a shop there. He's not going to be that employee friendly or, friend to everybody who is going to give you a chance. And now next thing is that there is no close substitute. As I have told that for sugar, there is sugar, and probably for salt, there is only one thing. So you are not going to have substitutes. Complete price control. This is what I want you to keep in mind, because that person is going to set the market, that person is going to set the price, and nobody else can challenge him. Discrimination is based on the price. It is a price maker. So the word price has to stick on to your mind. Price maker, price controller, price domination, that's all about monopoly. So even when you're going to play the game of monopoly, you need to understand that once you have started dominating the game, the price set by you have to be paid by the other players. That's exactly what happens in the markets also. Once the monopolist decides that yes, this is the price on which I'm going to play, that might be a pressure game, but still for the other people, that is the option that's widely available. So this is going to be a challenging market. Now the next thing is that a demand curve with a downward slant, which is less elastic. So it's not elastic, it's not a flexible thing at all. It is rather a fixed kind of a scenario. Followed by the chapter summary. So we're going to learn about this word called as monopoly, single seller, multiple buyers. Commodity market, yes, you would have seen monopoly in many of the commodity markets, but nowadays markets have become more open kind of thing. Now your short run profit, because in a monopoly, within that small time, within that limited time, make the maximum profit. Average revenue, which means total revenue divided by the quantity that you're going to derive. Marginal revenue curve, which is very, very important here. We're also going to talk about monopolistic, where there are many people selling differentiated kind of products. Oligopoly, which is a kind of monopoly, but here it is a cartel base. When a group of people dominate the market, we call it as oligopoly. So oligopoly is a revised form of monopoly where you're going to have a cartel formation. Followed by, what is monopoly? It is a market where single seller or firm controls the supply of commodity. Very simple question, simple answer. All you have to remember, single seller and who controls the supply of the commodity. That's how you're going to make the marks here. Followed by, what is a monopolistic competition? A very, very important question. Why? Because this is a kind of competition. It's again an imperfect. I'm not going to say this is a perfect market at all. It's an imperfect, where there are many sellers selling heterogeneous products and they are not perfect substitutes. Now, what happens in this kind of market? Let's try to understand. You go to a place, let's say that market is known for electronics. Now in an electronic market, there'll be many kind of people selling differentiated products. They're not the same. They might be equivalent in nature, but they're not substitutes. A is not substitute for B and B is not for C, and it goes like that. Now in a monopolistic, what happens is that they're all differentiated product and they're not perfect substitutes, which means to say each one of them will have their own pricing strategy and a sort of market where each will try to cut upon the other. So monopolistic is also an imperfect market that you can think about. Followed by oligopoly, as I was trying to talk about, imperfect, where there are few firms or sellers trying to dominate. It's a homogeneous product here. So I'm going to give you a typical example of OPEC, which is oil and producing, exporting countries, which we are going to talk about. And when we talk about this oil, petroleum exporting countries that are in this world, it consists of 7 members. Now, these 7 members form an oligopoly. They don't allow the 8th person to enter into the cartel. So, these 7 members dominate the crude oil price every day in the world market. So, what happens here is that they decide under what price, how much does it go, and how much is the factor there. And based on that, they make the market move up or down. So, this is definitely a very, very interesting form of market. Yes, this format of market is available in many corners of the world, and it is also a typical imperfect market. Now, the next one is the 2 markers, where is product differentiation I'm trying to bring in. Product differentiation is one of the most important features of a monopolistic competition. It refers to a real differentiation in size, in design, in color, shape of the product, or any imaginary name or brand product altogether. Why I'm talking about these things is that when we go into an heterogeneous markets altogether, the heterogeneous markets will have its own power, own benefit. It has its own set of variations that come into the market. So at one point of time, what happens is that the market tends to become heterogeneous by nature. The market tends to pull itself in its own zone, in its own levels altogether. So when we are talking about this heterogeneous market, it is a kind of market where everybody is interested. Everybody wants to take this market, wants to make something out of the market. So they understand that this market has got some sort of game altogether. So now what happens here is that the differentiation comes in terms of name, in terms of branding, in terms of packaging, which is going to derive some value to you. Now, define profit. Profit is the difference between total revenue and total cost. So if you have to write this in economics, the value symbol is given by pi, which is equal to TR minus TC. Total revenue minus total cost. So that is where it is going to become a very, very important equation. So higher the revenue, higher the profit. Higher the cost, lesser the profit. So always we have to see that how can we reduce the cost factor. So what happens here is that more the revenue the firm generates, the cost will become lesser and automatically you will be able to generate more profit. Price rigidity, which is very, very important, which means to say that prices are difficult to change. Now, for example, let's look into our own petrol and diesel costs. For a very long time, the price has been stuck to the range of 101 point some change, or it is always shuttling between that 101 and 102 for a very long time altogether. That price has become so rigid that people have almost forgotten that the price would come down or there would be a shift in the price. Why? Because the rigidity is happening because of the oligopoly market, and at one point of time people have started accepting that market. Now you don't have an option, you don't have a room to challenge that price at any given point of time. So what happens here is that the price of that particular market becomes so rigid and it changes according to the demand function altogether. Now, the next one that we would be talking about is the duopoly, which comes into picture. The duopoly is an example where the market situation is done by two sellers. It might be a private firm and a public firm that we are talking about, or it might be a kind of situation where we are also talking about two public or two private. A duopoly is a kind of a mythical situation, I would like to say. Why? Because it's not so easy in real-term economics to have a duopoly coming into picture. But nevertheless, just to learn from the subject standpoint, duopoly means two firms which are dominating the market. Followed by the 6-mark question that's coming into it. The features of monopoly. This is a regular repeated question that has come in the examination where they've asked about what are the features. So one seller, large number of buyers, no close substitute, restriction or the entry of firms, nature and demand curve that comes into picture, no difference of firms in terms of firm and industry, it is a price maker, and there is a perfect knowledge. Now, if you look into this entire question, there are about 7 points which you need to remember to make that 6 marks. The first one is about the very common topic, the seller and the buyer concept. The second one is about the substitutes concept. There is no substitute available. The restriction in terms of firm entry. I think these 3 you would be able to get it in the 1 markers and 2 markers itself. The main thing that you need to add that starts coming is the nature of the demand curve. This is a new point that you're learning. No difference between firm and industry because it's all the same there. This is a price maker. This we have learned it in the chapter summary itself. And the most important thing, the monopolist perfectly knows the market. So there is no way you can cheat the monopoly. You can tell him that, sir, I know better than you. No, this is where the monopolist is going to have a complete control on the market. Followed by the monopoly demand curve market. So this is a price monopolist where we talk about he is going to be a price maker. He's going to give the demand curve. There's no difference between industry. He gives even he can give a less quantity at a higher price, vice versa. So what's going to happen here is that it's going to be a sloping demand curve always. The monopoly is going to continue to remain in the market for some long time. Why? Because the monopoly is going to see that there is going to be some sort of demand function that is coming inside the market. Followed by we are going to see that the demand and the price factors that are coming into picture. This is a diagram I'm going to give you. You can look here, the quantity is varying here and over the demand curve. So the price is fixed here. This is a monopoly demand curve. The price will continue to increase or decrease based on the quantity and the demand function that we are talking about. Followed by what are the features of monopolistics. This is different from monopoly. most of the time people make this mistake of not understanding monopoly and monopolistic. Monopolistic means large number of buyers and seller, product differentiation comes into picture, existence of a selling cost is there, free entry and exit, there will be a sloping demand curve, and a price maker again comes into picture. Monopoly and monopolistic are not same, they are slightly different. This is about differentiated product, and that's about a homogeneous product. Now, with this, we come to the end of this particular chapter. I hope and believe that all the important facts that have been spoken in form of question and answers in this particular chapter would be of a great help to you in the exam. So with this, we come to the end of microeconomics. In the upcoming session, we will be talking about introduction to macroeconomics. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.